Yo, what's happening, y'all? This is B Jizzle of the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Welcome to the number one LA Clipper podcast out there. We want to first give you guys a shout out, LA Clipper fan, LA Clipper Nations, for being here. Share this podcast with your family and friends. They will not be disappointed, but let's get it popping.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers to throw away. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Crossing that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now. But you got a soul to say. I just been cooking that new. I'm about to drop in a few. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth. I ain't really trip on the credit. I just paid all of my dues. I just respected the game. Now my name all in the news. Tripping on all of my moves. Quote me on this, got a lot more to prove. Remember I came in this bitch, fresh out the county with nothing to lose.
For nothing, no. Wanna count on you, but I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. You, but my money real, that you do. Oh yeah, so I don't do this shit for nothing.
Rolling up some good, going up till we get faded. You know how we do it. Everybody take a flex on me. I got the keys to the city. I don't need no limousine. I turn up when I pull up and tell my booking agent book a show. Running around with the paper bag, running around with the paper bag. Going crazy spending all this cash. Going crazy spending all this cash. If I spend it, I'ma get it back. Even when I ride around dirty, a nigga don't need a seatbelt. A nigga don't need a seatbelt. Nah, it don't cost to keep it real. Run up, get down up. Shit can get real. Fuck around and get your ass rocked. Nigga, fuck around and take your shit. Got you asking God why. Drag your ass into an alley. Pull out aim for the target. Should've never been around the killers. In my town with the fucking realest. No cheddar bars round here. I get the spray and they gon' get down. Ski mask over my face. Catch a body in broad day. Catch a body in broad day.
I got the key to the city. I got a hold of Shadiddy. Talk to that bitch in Swahili. Tattoo my name in graffiti. Whack out your hood in graffiti. Come through your hood on the weekly. None of y'all niggas can't see me. None of y'all niggas can't see me. Y'all ain't got nothing like this over there. Bunch of frontline millionaires. Bunch of self-made after Trump paid. Guess the odds really took it there. Any problem, I'ma reappear. With a squad you already fear. All this time I've been playing fair. 7 digits every single year. Niggas die, niggas disappear. Alibis, I was really there. Life a crime till I get the chair. Columbine in my trigger hair. Still I rise and I took the stairs. Feel a fire, it's a different glare. All these fights, it was never fair. Busting knuckles, still I'm swinging fears. Thanks to salt inside my dripping tears. You should know I never had a fear. You should know I never had a shot. Never had a chance till I took it here. Man, it's proud, but I see it clear. Strategize, I'm an engineer. Pick a side, gotta keep it there. Switching up, nigga, looking weird. I got the key to the city. I got a hold of Shadiddy. Talk to that bitch in Swahili. Tattoo my name in graffiti. Whack out your hood in graffiti. Come through your hood on the weekly. None of y'all niggas can't see me. None of y'all niggas can't see me.
Whoa, what's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos, hit that like button. Y'all come in here, hit the share, subscribe, hit that Cash App, $, Slick Rick 1991 Son, $, Slick Rick 1991 Son. Also, our Venmo is at BJ/MATHEWS/1. That's at BJ/MATHEWS/1. That is our Venmo if you guys want to hit us up on there. And last but not least, also, if you guys have not already, make sure you guys donate. If you guys do on your choose to, super stickers and super comments are available. Very simple. All you gotta do is go to that box in the right hand corner and hit that $ symbol, and you guys can donate to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast at your own discretion. Let's get it popping. All right, so here we are. We back at it, man, with another show for y'all today. This morning, actually, is aftermath after the game from last night. I was gonna do a live right away, but I was coming from the arena. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a great experience. We just dropped a video last night as well. Me and Clipper Soul and Mrs. Mint J walking around the arena and things of that nature, and had definitely a great time. So if you guys have not saw that video already, make sure y'all go check that video out instantly, so you guys get a chance to really see kind of like behind the scenes and stuff like that. What the arena is like. That's me right there, close, right there by the floor. So it's going to be a lot of content that we're going to drop this year, simply surrounding how the arena is. Speaking to fans, we got another video coming out as well, speaking to fans and things of that nature, interviews and stuff like that. It's gonna get crazy. So make sure you guys just continuously follow us and stay locked in. All right, so we got a couple things to talk about today. First off, we got to talk about obviously the game last night. What happened, and I know it's preseason, but like I said, this is the Clippers. We talk about everything Clippers, and we talk about preseason, in season, off season, press conferences, media day, all that stuff we talk about. No matter what it is, how small it is, we want to make sure we keep y'all locked in on all Clipper news business, because we are that Clipper podcast. But let's talk about it, man. We're gonna talk about the game last night. We're gonna talk about the comments of also Kawhi Leonard as well, which I found very interesting. He made he shared a lot simply yesterday about the team and his health and how they're going to use him and all that stuff. So I want to get into that as well. But Clippers last night played their first preseason game of the 2024-25 NBA season against the Golden State Warriors, and lost by a buzzer beater in the fourth quarter. Now, let me just be upfront with y'all real quick. When it comes to preseason, the wins and losses don't really matter. They don't count towards your record. It doesn't count to you going to the playoffs. It doesn't count to you, you know what I'm saying? You get a trophy for winning preseason, not like the summer league. It's just simply games to tune up and allow guys who are not going to really play in the regular season to get minutes. That's what the preseason is meant for. How are you looking? How are you gelling? First, second, even third string, and just giving guys an opportunity who do not play some film. That's really what the preseason is all about, right? So let's talk about some things, because I saw some things last night that I think we need to really highlight. So, like I said, the win and loss don't really matter. I want to talk about the players who are going to play last night. So obviously that's our starters. Last night was Derrick Jones Jr., it was Ivica Zubac, it was James Harden, it was Norman Powell, and Chris Dunn. Now, if y'all look at that, y'all could see the first eye glaring thing is that we didn't have Terrence Mann in the starting lineup, right? The lineup did not include Terrence Mann. It included Norman Powell, including Chris Dunn, it included James Harden, and included Ivica Zubac, and included Derrick Jones Jr. Right? So, as y'all know, like I said, preseason is meant to actually determine also starting positions as well, where you're going to put on the depth chart. So, this is the game, one of the first, preseason games. So, obviously, they had, this is something that Ty Lue tried out. Now, if you look at the statistics among the 5 players, you got Derrick Jones Jr. went 0 for 3. Ivica Zubac went 5 for 6. James Harden went 2 for 6. Norman Powell went 5 for 7. And then Chris Dunn went 0 for 1. 11 minutes, 18 minutes, 17 minutes, 15 minutes, 18 minutes. So, a little less than half the game each one of these guys played. Again, it's just giving these guys an opportunity to get some up and down, get some, chemistry going. That's not in training camp. That's what, generally what that's genuine what the preseason is for. So the guy that stood out for the most part was Ivica Zubac with 14 points and 6 rebounds, made a lot of impact, in his time on the court, made all his free throws, right? Zubac just got his, 3-year deal, I think, for $49 million. So definitely something where, Zubac is somebody that is going to be implementing the offense this season, hands down. You got Norman Powell also came in firing 15 minutes, 5 for 7 from the field, 11 points, 1 for 2 from the 3-point line. Obviously, Norman Powell is a guy who has talked about starting for the team. He's been with us for the last 2.5 seasons. He's our guy who's came off the bench last year, the 6th man of the year candidate. He came in, looked very sharp, getting to the basket, sharp line drives to the 3-point shot as well to start the game right off the rip. So he's definitely, on a mission to, get that starting spot. And, he definitely showed his worth yesterday. The guys who struggled scoring the ball and kind of got less time, one of the guys I saw was Derrick Jones Jr., right? And I'm going to talk about him in a minute. I'm going to talk about Chris Dunn. James Harden, the offense, I'm going to talk about him as well. And then you got guys off the bench. You had Kyle Jones, who played 22 minutes, who's our, quote-unquote backup power forward center. You got Bones Highland, who played 13 minutes. You got Terrence Mann, played 10 minutes. Amir Coffey played 10 minutes. I'm not going to even say the players that, are not going to get playing time, like Jordan Miller and, Darlin and those type of players, and Cam Christie. They're probably going to be not playing much this year. Kevin Porter Jr. with 16 minutes. Terrence Mann with 10 minutes. Now, again, and Kobe Brown with 27 minutes. So let me just break this down for y'all real quick of what I think about the game and the first 2.5 quarters, because that's when you really saw that most of these guys are on the court playing. After that, it was basically the third string and the fourth string guys playing. So, like I said, from what I'm seeing right now, I don't feel like starting positions are set in stone for certain people, and guys who were in the second string last year are not going to be set in stone as well. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard did not play yesterday, so that's something that's going to be implemented when he comes back. Nicholas Batum didn't play yesterday. That's going to be intimate. So when we see those guys, we're going to really see some guys actually moved out the rotation even more. Like I've said before, man, like this team right now, one thing I did not like is we picked up a lot of guards. We picked up a lot of guys that, who have the talent and potential to play, but because of the amount of players that we've had over the last few years, the same problem. It's hard for guys who are, worthy of playing, not going to be on the court, right? So let's start with, some of the guys who I feel like are not set in stone. First of all, it's Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann signed a 3-year, I can't remember how much money, but it's not a 3-year deal for the Clippers extension. So definitely the Clippers, are very high on Terrence Mann, and he signed his 3-year deal just this past season. But it seems like to me Ty Lue is not truly invested in him being a starter. And now with Norman Powell, playing like how he played yesterday, it puts more pressure on Ty Lue to, make a decision who he's going to start. So I think they're going to start Terrence Mann the next game against Brooklyn, or one of these games in the preseason, just to see the feel of how he, looks with the rest of the team. But Terrence Mann not starting, and then him getting 10 minutes, and then him going 1 for 4 from the field, not making a big impact on defense because, Golden State is a high-power offensive team, moves the ball. It's hard to guard, the ball, and it's hard to guard players that move around all the time, right? So Terrence Mann, not being the starter, being the second string, he's possibly going to be somebody you guys got to watch out for who's going to lose his starting position, which I can't really believe because I thought he's already solidified his starting spot. But once again, Ty Lue proves that he wants to play offense over defense. So that's the first thing. The second thing I saw that was kind of eye-glaring, Amir Coffey being in the third string. Amir Coffey didn't touch the floor to the second half, which I found very, very surprising. Because Amir Coffey was a starter for us last year in the postseason. Amir Coffey showed very, very good glimpses last year as well. Amir Coffey's been with us since he got drafted with us, right? So we talked about him last year about how much time, he gets on the court, does not get on the court. He had some very, very good games last year. He was playing behind Kawhi Leonard and Paul George for the most part. You can understand it, but since Paul George wasn't here, is not here no more, and Kawhi Leonard didn't play yesterday, you would think he would get his minutes at that, 3, at least coming off the bench, playing with Terrence Mann, playing with, yesterday, Kyle Jones, and playing with, possibly, Kevin Porter Jr., playing with those guys. But he got him in the third string. Again, it's not about the minutes, about where you put him in the depth chart. When you look at James Harden and Zubac, you're not going to see nobody play over them at any point. You're not going to see Kyle Jones starting over Zubac. You're not going to see Bones Highland starting over James Harden at any point because their spots are solidified. You're not going to see Kobe Brown starting over Kawhi Leonard. You're not going to see that. So based off of Terrence Mann not starting yesterday, based off of Amir Coffey going in the third string in the depth chart, those type of players are, looking to possibly be, moved out the rotation. So those are two players I kind of kept my eye on. And then you look at KPJ. KPJ yesterday, from what I saw, he shot 1 for 5 from the field. He shot 5 for 7 from the free throw line. He had 7 points, and he had 4 turnovers. Kevin Porter Jr. has not played in the NBA for a whole season. So I'm basically going through the people that, we picked up. As y'all come here, make sure y'all smash that like button. Hit that like button as y'all come in here. I'm going through the people that we picked up for the most part because it's going to, kind of revolve around my point after. Again, I know it's the first day of the season. KPJ, for people who do not know, played for the Houston Rockets and the Cleveland Cavaliers stint before going overseas, and now he's with the Clippers. KPJ is 6'5", a lefty, shifty, all that good stuff, right? Yesterday, he had some turnovers that were, kind of, irresponsible. But what I do like about KPJ is that he's aggressive. He looks like a player who's not going to lose confidence over a mistake. So I could deal with aggressive mistakes. So when he started turning the ball over, trying to dribble between two players, or him trying to because Golden State's defense for the most part they were pretty aggressive, and they had guys on the glass rebound the basketball as well. So their defense wasn't trash, but KPJ to me is going to be somebody that I think Ty Lue is going to definitely, take a look at. He had him in the second string yesterday, coming off the bench right away. Right away, they had KPJ coming off the bench because he's an offensive talent, and that's what Ty Lue likes, his offensive pieces. So I like KPJ. I like his aggressive. I like his mindset. But the problem is with KPJ is I got to see if he's going to be able to play in a system. Is he going to be able to play in a system where, it's disciplined? Because most of the teams that he's played on, Houston and Cleveland, those were teams that didn't have any type of expectations, and they had no real system, no real offense that he had to run through. KPJ is more of a street ball player. If you watch him play, he's just a bigger version of Bones Highland. If y'all really he likes to play fast, he likes to play up and down the court. And our team is not that type of team when you got James Harden walking the ball off the floor. So KPJ, I got to see how he's going to fit in this offense, because he's going to have to be able to, work with James Harden and Zubac for the most part. And I'm not so sure how that's going to work with him. That's why I said guys like Amir Coffey and Terrence Mann are better players suited, because they don't really need the ball to really make themselves, happen. If you play with James Harden, a lot of times you're going to be having to catch and shoot the three, which brings me to the point of two more players I want to talk about, Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn. That might be a little bit of an issue. Look, this is what I seen yesterday that's kind of weird. Derrick Jones Jr. played 11 minutes yesterday. Again, I know it's the first game. He had 0 points. He had really and 1 rebound and two turnovers. D Jones, we got to put some emphasis on what actually is going on, because I've been hearing a lot of stuff about Derrick Jones and what he did last year and stuff. We got to put things in perspective. The Mavericks decided to get off Derrick Jones last year after the finals, which really opened up the door for Klay Thompson and Najee Marshall to go to the Dallas Mavericks. And my personal opinion, they let Derrick Jones go because what happening in the finals, he got played off the floor because he couldn't score, he couldn't shoot. When you have a guy like Luka Doncic dominating the basketball, he plays just like James Harden. So if you couldn't work in that offense, it's going to be even more difficult for you to work in this offense, because James Harden and Luka are carbon copies of each other. James Harden and Luka both they relish over 3-point shooters that space the floor with them, and they relish over lob threats. Now, Jones is definitely a lob threat, but when the lob isn't there and they take the lob away like Boston did, he was very, very he was unuseful. They had to take him off the floor. A lot of times when you have a problem like that, it becomes 4-on-5, and that's why I was kind of see from D Jones yesterday, which I see why he played less minutes than anybody who was a starter, because he looked very, very not useful out there because he can't space the floor, and when Golden State took the lob away, he's pretty much useless. He couldn't. There was no really impact on the defensive end as well. So the Clippers, they're going to have to find a way to implement him in the offense, because just for intents and purposes, he's going to have to be able to lock down players all night, which he couldn't do it yesterday because of Golden State's offense, how they run it. That's very tough to do. You're not locking down Steph Curry. You're not locking down, when Draymond Green's on the court setting them hard ass screens. Trey Jackson Davis starting them screens as well. You're not really. It's hard for you to lock the ball up or lock ball movement up. So that's why Derrick Jones Jr. only got 11 minutes yesterday. But that to me is a problem. This whole Derrick Jones Jr. locked up. I want to put this out here. He locked up Jason Tatum. He locked up Paul George. If y'all go back and watch them series, that's not exactly what happened. Dallas had a great team defense last year where they were very, very intact with Daniel Gafford, with PJ Washington, with Derrick Jones Jr., with Kyrie Irving at the point of attack as well. They had a lot of guys, what's his name? The guy off the bench, the curly-haired, light-skinned dude they traded off of Dallas. They had him last year. They had a lot of guys who were locked in on the defensive end. Derek Lively, that helped them actually be a very, very good defensive team defensively. Derrick Jones Jr. was not locking up Jason Tatum, because if that was the case, Jason Tatum, he would have not gotten benched in that series. Jason Tatum, yes, he averaged 20 points per game in the series, but he also was assisting the ball. He's actually rebounding the ball. He's making an impact. Paul George, if you guys watched games 1 through 4, he was being guarded by not just Derrick Jones Jr., but also PJ Washington as well. Right? And there were actually, if Paul George beat Derrick Jones Jr., then here comes the second line of defense helping and ready to, help to, guard PG. So it was a collective effort for how they shut PG down last year in the playoffs. I just want to put that out there. Don't worry. Don't look at the statistics. Oh, Derrick Jones Jr. guarded PG this amount of possessions, and he said, oh, he shut it. No, the stat that y'all are looking at is a stat that was made up by a person who is not even an NBA analytical person. A lot of the stuff y'all see on Twitter and Google, y'all got to fact check that. And you guys got to watch the games to actually see what the hell happened. I watched every single game back to back between the Clippers and the Mavs from games 1 through 6 last year in the playoffs. I watched all the finals games. I watched every game to see what exactly happened. Derrick Jones Jr., there's a reason why he got moved off of the Mavericks. So if he was this all-world defender, the Mavericks would not want him. They would have wanted him back. But they saw what I saw last night. It's going to be a little bit of an issue trying to find a way to get Derrick Jones Jr. in this offense. But that's what D. Jones. Bones Highland, to me, I think he's going to have – shout out to Bruce for telling me this last night. He said he thinks Bones is just on the wrong team because we're not a fast-paced team as far as the first unit. And then you look at the second unit. If we play fast with guys like Bones, with guys like Norm, with guys like KPJ and players like that, you got 3 guys who are not defensive players, so they're going to get attacked on the other end. See, the problem is, again, when you don't have a lot of two-way players on your team, you have to sacrifice one and give up the other. If we bench our offense like we did last night and go all defense, it's becoming a point where certain guys are going to be exposed because they cannot, create any type of offense. It's kind of like what happened 3 years ago with John Wall, Luke Kennard, and Reggie Jackson. Remember that 3-guard lineup that we used to have that Ty Lue's stupid ass used to always play? We couldn't guard nobody. We kept getting exposed because we had 3 undersized guards at the small forward power position. So if you play a lineup with, say, KPJ with Norm and even James Harden, you're going to get exploited on the offensive end, on the defensive end. But if you play a lineup with D. Jones, Chris Dunn, shit, Terrence Mann, who can create some offense at times. Okay, well then you're like, okay, well, it's hard for them to score the basketball. And there's no guarantee they're going to be stopping the players because, again, last night, like we said with Jeff Van Gundy, we're going all defense, and they did that last night for much of the game. And I saw some great hustle and some effort, but I also saw that we have to sacrifice one to gain another. Right? We don't really have. We have Amir Coffey, we have Kawhi Leonard as our only two-way players. Chris Dunn's not a two-way player. Derrick Jones Jr. is not a two-way player. James Harden's not a two-way player. Norman Powell's not a two-way player. Even though he's sworn up and down that he wants to be that. Bones Highland's not a two-way player. Terrence Mann's not a two-way player. Like, when you don't have two-way players and lots of them, like Boston do, they have Jrue Holiday, they got Derek White, they got Jason Tatum, they have Jaylen Brown. You don't have to sacrifice one to gain the other. That's why two-way players to me are the most effective players in the NBA because they can be on the court at all times and are not put in situations where they're going to be exploited. So that's what I seen last night at the game against the Warriors and the Clippers. Obviously, you don't want to lose any games, but I mean, I'm not really concerned about it. I just looked at the depth chart, looked at how we were playing and the offense that we were in, and who's going to be beneficial. Which another thing too, James Harden is not going to sacrifice his game for the team. He doesn't have to. We've seen that last year. James Harden can only play one way. He cannot play any other way but having the ball in his hands, right? So you're going to have to fit around him. And that's another question too. How many minutes is he going to play this year? Because the more minutes that James Harden plays is the more time that he's going to need players around him that better suits his offense, which means there's going to be certain guys going to be casted out. The Bones Highlands, the KPJs. Well, I don't know. I got to see KPJ. I do think he has a great feel of the game. I just got to see it. But I think he's more of an up and down player. He's not a slow down, let me, watch player. I mean, Chris Dunn is still out for discussion. Chris Dunn he shot 1-3 yesterday that was bad. He couldn't, he made some good efforts on Steph Curry, but, I don't know. I think we have a lot of guards, and I think we have to kind of, see what that's going to look like. But that's enough of that. Yesterday, Kawhi Leonard spoke about, the team, his health. He finally came out and talked a little bit about, all the, situations, kind of what I wanted to hear. We kind of want, Kawhi Leonard to hear about, kind of speak about a lot of things. And he definitely did that yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little clip, 5-minute clip, with, Kawhi Leonard speaking about his health and his teammates and things of that nature. And we're going to be back, after this, about this little 4.5 minute clip. All right, here we go.
How's this week been, both in terms of you getting your body ready and as well as what you see from the team on the floor?
Just learning experiences, starting off training camp, excitement on the floor, just finding out ways that the team could gel. And, you see a lot of competitive nature out there, guys getting after each other, really competing and fighting for those.
Shout out to Law Murray. That's him right there interviewing Kawhi. So shout out to Law Murray for being a great beat writer for the Clippers. The best one in my personal opinion. Him and Tomer are the two best ones in my opinion. Joey Lynn and Farbot are just right behind him. But anyway, yeah.
For those positions.
How you feeling?
I feel good. Just been taking my time and getting stronger and getting ready.
You mentioned on media day that you've been ramping up the games every year from 0 to 52, and I think it was 66. What's the has there been any conversations about the plan this year, how they plan to handle the games and back-to-backs and things like that?
Not right now. We just been taking it slow day by day and just trying to get me back on the floor. So, once those conversations come, we'll see what they're talking about.
All right, so I'm gonna be stopping at pretty much every segment every time I ask a question. So we've been wanting to know about Kawhi Leonard, how he's feeling. Really lead up to the pretty much for the whole damn summer. If y'all remember, with the Olympics and him being out for the playoffs and stuff, this is another year. Like I've told y'all before, this is a make and break year for Kawhi with me. Kawhi has to be able to be healthy and finish this postseason. I don't really care too much about how many games he plays. It's not really important to me because he's shown that he's trying to at least get out there and play. And it did not work out how they wanted to last year. So I'm looking at for is he going to finish the postseason. But he seems to be giving some insight of how the Clippers are planning to, use him this upcoming year and where they're at in their progression. So he's basically saying they're taking it slow and they're trying to decide how to get him back on the court. So I read an article that, he's not playing 5-on-5 right now. So they're taking it slow about, how they bring him in. I don't know if he's going to play preseason at all, but they're definitely taking things slow right now.
Are there, when you're saying you're getting stronger and getting ready, is there anything specific you're looking for when you're out there and you're working out, like any type of thing, like, oh, that feels better today, I'm happy with that?
No, it's not really based on how I'm feeling. It's more of just listening to the doctors and seeing what I can do to prevent what I have been doing, because I've been doing a lot of stuff that probably has me where I am now.
Who has stood out for you during this week of training camp practices?
Just the new guys, just watching them, the new additions we have from, Chris Dunn to Derrick Jones Jr., to some of the young guys that we brought in with Kai Jones last year, and just seeing, how they could develop. So just watching them from day one to day two to day three, just seeing their progression. But nobody stood out to me so far.
All right, so this is one part of the interview I found very interesting. As y'all come here, make sure y'all smash that like button. Now, Kawhi is one of them type of people, and I think Patrick Beverly said it best. He talks, he just don't like to talk to the media. But when he speaks, it's something that you could take to the bank, as it is what it is. He's very direct, he's very simple, like his game. He doesn't pull no punches. What he says and what he sees is what he's gonna say. So they asked him about, Law asked him, has anybody stood out to him? And as y'all can see right here, it says nobody stood out to me so far on his new teammates. And I found that interesting because, and this is Tomer Azarli who put that out there. Shout out to him. I found that interesting because, again, he kind of seen, to me, when it comes to that, I would think a person like Kawhi would say, okay, I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about this player, what he can bring, what he can do. But because the players that we brought in are unproven, and he's trying to really get a feel what they can do on the court, he said what he said in the headline, nobody stood out to him so far. And that's kind of what happened with me last night. Derrick Jones Jr. didn't stood out to me. Chris Dunn didn't stand out to me. Kai Jones didn't stand out to me really. One thing about Kai Jones, which we brought him here for, is going to be for effort and running the floor. But I found that very interesting that he said nobody stood out to him in training camp, which I think kind of is something where Kawhi's looking at like, well, they're kind of players that are not something. They're not. I don't want to say he don't feel like he can win a championship with these guys, because I think Kawhi Leonard healthy can make pretty much magic happen, but he does understand it's going to be a lot harder. That's something I can tell just by his expression. It's going to be a lot harder than it was previous years when they had the team like last year. I thought, like I said, last year, I thought that he was going to be healthy. They were going to finish the playoffs and win the championship. When they went on that 25-5 run, when they went on that 38 run, when they were a top 10 defense and a top 5 offense, both sides of the basketball. That's when I feel like the Clippers were the best. That was the best team I've ever seen the Clippers play at that level last year. But by these comments that Kawhi Leonard just spoke about his teammates, and he named certain guys who are just unproven. Like I said, Derrick Jones Jr., if he was doing this, that, and the other last year, he would have said something about D. Jones coming in and being a defensive stopper and things like that nature. That's why I say he's good, but he's not elite. He's not an elite defensive stopper. Chris Dunn ain't an elite defensive stopper. All right. None of the new guys, are players that you look at are going to be, you don't know, they're going to make their mark and try to do something, but they're not proven guys. And Kawhi Leonard just echoed that right now. He didn't say not one of those guys, caught his eye. That's kind of eye glaring to me. I think KPJ got potential. I think he has the most potential, but I think again he's super young too. So I just think by those comments that Kawhi said, I think he knows it's going to be a lot harder to win this year than it was last year. You got people saying it's going to be easier. They went on deep. I think he just nipped all that shit in the bud. Now again, he needs to play. He needs to be on the court with Nico. But he's as far as these new signings, he understands that they're not what people are trying to make them out to be. So I'm gonna let y'all continue.
Kawhi, do you want to play in a preseason game before trying to play in the season opener? Does that matter, or do you think you could just go into the season opener without any preseason action?
It's always a build-up to playing the game, so especially in the position I'm in.
How do you look at the makeup of this roster from a size standpoint? I know last year you talked about who you're sharing the floor with commonly, who you're guarding most often. The team, at least at the 4 spot, they have, Nico's back, but guys like Derrick Jones Jr., he's not as big as more like Paul, for instance. So, when you do get back on the floor, do you anticipate guarding bigger guys? Do you anticipate being more of a power forward? How do you see that right now?
Who was a power forward last year?
You were. So
I'm going to say it's going to be the same thing, pretty much, I feel like.
So Kawhi is one of them type of people who don't worry about other people for his success. You heard the comments last week about him. They say about him, PG leaving. He said that PG's not my savior. And you guys just heard right now with the power forward position, he said, is he more comfortable playing with no power? He said basically, in a nutshell, it don't matter. He's just a person, who's ultra confident in himself, and he works harder than anybody in the league. That he feel like he don't need to, he don't need validation from nobody. That's who Kawhi Leonard is at the end of the day. So, in a nutshell, he's gonna go out there and just be him. So that takes care of that power forward and small forward. Should he play on the perimeter? Should he play in the post? What's best for his knee? What's going to be he just doesn't really have a preference. It's just tell me what you need me to do. Have a plan for me to, be able to utilize that, and I'll do the job. He takes his lunch pail to, to work and just does what he's supposed to do. That's who Kawhi is. He said also about him playing, does he want to play preseason? And he said, he kind of gave a vague answer. He said, it's kind of where working up to what he is now. I don't think he's crazy about playing in the preseason. I think he's worried about, like this quote says, he said, this is what I work for. I strive for a championship. I'm not out there trying to play 82 games. Even though that's obligated, I tried to, but it hasn't worked out. And that's what I wanted to hear from Kawhi. He said Kawhi Leonard says his goal is to win the title, not to play 82 games every season. Last year he tried to do that, and it didn't work out how it's supposed to. So his mindset, we've always talked about Kawhi being a playoff performer. His playground is the postseason. It's not the preseason, not the regular season, it's the postseason, because he understands that's what it's all about, is winning a championship. So 2 things. One, he's going to go back to his mindset of that's what's more important. Y'all tried to get me to go out here and play these regular season games. You made that stupid ass rule saying that you guys must play these games or you guys going to get fines and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to be something that Kawhi Leonard deals with this year in the Clippers. I think they're going to, just go through with the plan like they tried to do in the past, go through the load management, and worry about trying to get him into the postseason. That's why I strongly believe. I don't think he's going to play more than 68 games this year. I think it's going to be somewhere between 60 and 65 games this year he's going to play. Maybe even less than that. But his whole thing is about going to the postseason. That's his big thing. So that's really what it is with him. And do I think it will work? We'll see. We'll see what happens this year. But let me play the last part and then we'll be done.
I feel like that we got to control what we can control. And, I probably ran like one of the top 5 most miles per game last year, top 10. So coming off a torn meniscus. So we got to see, if that is beneficial for me or not.
Do you feel like anything related to your knee is related to who you're guarding, bigger bodies, having a rebound, or anything like that?
No, I just got to dedicate to myself. Look at, anybody or what I'm doing on the floor is putting me in position. I got to see what I'm doing to help me stay in those positions. But as I get older, guys aren't doing what I'm doing pretty much. You don't see it around the league, even when I was young. So it could get me in this position I am today. But who knows? This is what I work for. I strive to get a championship. And, I'm not out there to try to play 82 games trying to win. Even though that's obligated for me, I try to, but it hasn't worked out. So we'll see.
We're going to end it there because I think Kawhi spoke enough. As y'all come here and smash the like button, we're going to go ahead and land the plane here. So Law asked some very good questions, and he really tried to get Kawhi to really speak about, where he's at with his, health and where he's at with, his all that good stuff, right? So what Kawhi has basically said is basically what he said in this description. He said he works to win for a championship. He's not out there to try to play 82 games, even though that's obligated. I tried to, and it hasn't worked out. That's what Kawhi's words is. That's what y'all just heard from him. So obviously, like I said, they're going to go back with the idea of doing things Kawhi's way, which is load managing his body. That's what got him through the year in Toronto, and it got him through the year in the first year with the Clippers. If y'all remember, he load managed both of those years, and it got them, got him through the season. The years he did not load manage for the most part, the last 4 seasons has been more of him trying to play more games than him actually, choosing to, load manage his body. I played a video I think a couple weeks ago about, Kawhi Leonard's health. It was from a doctor, explaining to why load management is needed for somebody like him, because his condition that he has, which is, he's had a lot of surgeries he's had 2 surgeries on his right knee. There are certain precautions that Toronto took to get him through the season. And this is why he said last year, people need to stop looking at load management as something that should be used around the league, because I'm using it because I was injured and I had to use certain things from the doctor and the team for me to get through that year. But I'm not a player just sitting out for games. That's what Kawhi Leonard said. If I'm healthy, I can play. Which brings me to another point. Because Kawhi is a two-way player, you got to understand that that's even more workload on him, because two-way players are the hardest players to be in the NBA because they have to affect both ways of the basketball. So he's doing twice the work. He's guarding one of the top players, and he's having to score the most points on the team. That's what Kawhi Leonard is when he's on the court. So the Clippers really have to know how to manage his minutes, not so much his games played. I think it's going to be more about how many minutes he plays. Even though he says it's not about who he guards and stuff like that, I do truly think that, you know, playing him with the certain lineups and players that, you know, fit with him is going to be vital. And when you have a team that don't have a lot of two-way players, and you let go of your running mate, like I just said, I think it's going to be Kawhi Leonard looks at this team and says it's going to be harder, not easier to win a championship. Right? So Nico, James, Zoo, T-Man, Coffee are some of the better players that can play with him, because for the most part they can hold their own. Well, not James on the defensive end, but he makes Kawhi useful on the offensive end. But even with that, James Harden, the team's built around him. His main options are going to be what his main options are. Lob threats to Zubac and guys who can high fly, spacing with shooting, and things of that. So I'm not even so sure that James Harden's number one target ain't going to be Kawhi Leonard, even though he's the best player on the team. I think the team is built around James Harden, not Kawhi Leonard. So if that's the case, you're going to see more, I think, James Harden trying to implement his offense than Kawhi Leonard's offense, at least in the regular season. Now, the postseason is a different animal. Give the ball to Kawhi and get the hell out the way. But, I mean, they're trying to figure it all out, man. They're trying to figure out Kawhi's health, how to, you know, manage it. They're trying to, you know, figure out how to, you know, use these guys on the team, how they're going to fit, the rotations and the lineups with Ty Lue, who we know always, you know, every single year, even before he got these players, he tries to, you know, implement, you know, his roster, trying to find out what works best for him. It might take a long time. But all you can do is really kind of look and evaluate and be honest with yourself about, you know, what's working. But I saw some glaring things yesterday, some positive, and I saw definitely some negative that I don't know how to, you know, really clean up for the season. But, you know, we'll see. Well, like I said, we'll be having more videos. We'll be having a mixture of lives and things of that nature for this upcoming season. But, yeah, first preseason game yesterday against the Golden State Warriors, lost at the buzzer. It was kind of crazy because we were in the Intuit Dome watching it. But that, and then we got the Brooklyn Nets on Tuesday. It will be out here in San Diego. They got another game against the Trailblazers in Seattle on, I believe, Friday. And they got the last two games at the Intuit Dome to finish off the preseason. They'll be back to the regular season on the 22nd. All right, so y'all make sure y'all lock in with us. Y'all share the podcast, like, share, and subscribe, comment, donate. All that great stuff is going to be a great season for y'all. But until then, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, put a live pace out of here like swimwear.
I'm feeling good, feeling alright tonight. I'm feeling good now. Yeah, it's all good in the neighborhood, homie. Yeah, little ride. I feel good, I feel alright. Cruising through my neighborhood on a warm summer night. I feel good. That's right, I feel good now. It's summer night. Summer days just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. Keep the top on drop, all the girls looking hot, hit the photo and we just don't stop. Party until the morning light. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. I just kicked it at home. I polished up the chrome, called the Ruka on the phone, let her know I'm home alone. It's 7:30 and the sun's going down. It's a summer night and the fun's going down. I pick her up and she looks all dolled up, sitting passenger in my rag and Paula. Yeah, I let her know that she looks beautiful to me. The world's an ugly place, but she is such a sight to see. The kind of woman that would put up a fight for me. The kind that wants to spend the summer nights with me. The temp was 80 and I'm cruising with my lady, playing some Rafi Bagan. Ooh, baby, baby. I see my homeboys and the cruising in the ride, with their ladies sitting by their side. People think we look crazy, but I think we look classy. But then again, that's only if you ask me. Summer days just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. girls looking hot, hit the photo and we just don't stop. Party until the morning light. Ain't nothing like them summer nights.
My homeboys throw in the backyard boogie, so everybody gets together to unwind, relax, and have a fun time. The DJ spinning, so I grab the mic and be like, ain't nothing like them summer nights. The party's packed with beautiful women and the gang of the homies that wanna get with them. And they'll say anything just to hit them. And it's usually a nice summer night when they did them. I don't know, it must be something in the air. Can't help but have a good time because the feeling is there. To some people, the feeling is rare. They're at the past saying, God damn, I wish I was there. To have a drink, have a token, hook up with someone fine, but the kind that looks up. Gotta keep some pisto in the cup. Party until the sun comes up, but we give up.
Summer days just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. Keep the top on drop, all the girls looking hot, hit the photo and we just don't stop. Party until the morning light. Ain't nothing like them summer nights.
Summer nights can keep a smile on your face. Gotta try to have a good time with your life, otherwise it's just a waste. Either way, I'm gonna party just in case. Like Prince partied like it was 99 and 87, 88. I couldn't ask for no better weather. I'm right next to the Pacific, to be specific. The candy paint job glows under the moonlight as I close out my summer night and say goodnight. It's time to put the top up and park it, drop it, unplug the ground, roll up the windows and lock it. Walk in the pad and fall into bed as she lays on my chest to rest her sleepy head. And we do this all night long, from dusk till dawn. But it's not quite the same when summer nights are gone. But even when they're gone, it won't be long. 8 more months and once again it's on.
Summer days just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party. Ain't nothing like them summer nights. Keep the top on drop, all the girls looking hot, hit the photo and we